with Biotherm and Malizia going for the pin, and Team Holcim PRB choosing the committee boat or the windward side. Maybe they were afraid of getting rolled, but that doesn't look great to me. It looks like they've got stuck in a little bit of a wind hole, and there was a bit more breeze on the left-hand side of the racecourse.
Team Malizia now across the line in first place. Team Holcim PRB is the closest to windward, so they should have the best breeze, but they're going to be at a soft angle. Biotherm in between Team Malizia and 11th Hour Racing Team. Mark, I love to make predictions. That's what I'm all about here. And coming into this race, we said that 11th Hour Racing Team had this pretty much sewn up. And I'm getting flashbacks of what we saw a while ago with the VO65s. The only way that your team could lose this, essentially, is if they get timed out and Team Malizia win. You know, it's unlikely, but this is kind of the start of that.
Yeah, you're all good at calling it, Niall. It is really interesting to see what's happening right here. I think there may be another wind shift going on. Team Malizia with the best speed, but also with the most ease in that front sail, and that appears that they've done the best job in getting the boat going. It looks like there's a bit more pressure to the leeward side of the course. In that last shot, Holcim PRB was flopping around quite a bit in that sea state, and hopefully they're able to get their boat going soon.
I think you're absolutely right about that wind shift. It started off a lot more from the south. It's then kind of came around to the right-hand side. Now it's kind of coming back to the left. It's put these boats here much more easy. They've got a long way to come down towards the others.
Yeah, Niall, because Mark 1 is the bear-away mark, where between Mark 1 and 2, the fleet will have to sail dead downwind and jibe to reach Mark 2. So yeah, Holcim.
11th Hour Racing Team are miles away on the shore, but now we can see the two coming together, and it looks to me like Biotherm are ducking here. They're putting in that big turn. They know they're going down, and then as I say that, the bow's starting coming up here. I think Biotherm now realizing they are definitely going to have to go behind. It is agony when you are not the right of way and you have to duck behind another boat that is going slowly. You're almost wanting them to go fast and get across your bows quickly. Paul Mayer had the speed there, but a couple of big pulls on the rudder. He needed to line up with the stern. And now Biotherm still behind Team Malizia, but they are constantly putting Boris Herrmann under pressure.
Yeah, just catching up a little bit, putting them under pressure, and really it's the tacks that are critical in this upwind. It's so slow to tack these IMOCAs with the J0s, so you want to minimize the number of tacks you make and really choose the right side, and the one who does the least tacks is probably going to come out pretty good as well.
You're absolutely right. That seems to be 11th Hour Racing Team, and also Team Holcim PRB, who is catching up. We've got boats completely opposite ends of this racetrack, and down there we have got Kate Jordan. Kate, give us some idea here of which side of this racecourse is going to pay, who's getting some sort of advantage here. How does it look?
Oh, it's really tough to tell from down here as well. I think it's quite interesting that you can see the difference in the breeze strength and the angle across the racecourse, just looking at the way the boats are heading. If the breeze swings back to the south and goes left a little bit more, I think 11th Hour are probably closest to the rum line to do a nice fast reach into that next mark.
Well, at the moment, they've certainly got the speed. I mean, Mark, you've been keeping your eyes glued to the tracker here. Nearly 6 knots for 11th Hour Racing Team. The
medium and the light winds, and sometimes to the frustration in the stronger stuff in the Southern Ocean. But yeah, I think they'll have decided that today's their day. And you know, they're going to do everything they can to take advantage of their boat speed in these conditions.
Well, they've got a jibe to come here for Biotherm. A turn to make. Now that they're in the breeze, they're desperate to use it as much as possible. And they are coming up to that jibe. Team Malizia has jibed. And you can see the 2 white marks there, the one on the right-hand side, just on the lower half of your screen. That's the next mark. Team Malizia have jibed, and that means they're going to need to do 2 here. Biotherm setting up hopefully for 1. When these 2 boats come together, it will be the Germans, Boris Herrmann's Team Malizia, that should have right-of-way, if indeed that is at the mark. He'll be coming in on the inside boat. But right now, I'd say that the breeze here, the speed, is with Paul Mayer.
Yeah, Biotherm's done a nice job at maximizing that little bit of pressure that they had, and have now jibed. I think this is the first time we've seen a split on leg 1 in this entire series. But yeah, they've been able to get the boat up to speed after the jibe. That's usually quite an important moment after you've jibed in light airs to get the boat back up to speed, and they've done a nice job at that. Let's see how this cross goes at Mark 1. That after this race finishes, he's going to be building his own plane. So while I'm sure he's doing his job to the best of his ability, he's keeping one eye on those fighter jets up there in the sky.
and maybe potentially not quite at the moment where he's going to be able to jump in his plane and fly that close to each other. But on the race course, at the moment, they are looking set to come in tight together into a formation, into Mark 3. We have got confirmation from the race control team that they are shortening the course. So it does look set to be 1 lap. 11th Hour Racing team have tacked. The side of the course that has paid for them so well is now behind them. And on the right-hand side of your screen, you can see Team Malizia making their way up. Biotherm also on that side as well as Team Holcim PRB on the left-hand side, trying to find the breeze that the American boats have used. The fleet is starting to close back together now as we get into that approach in Mark 3. And just like we saw here, Sam, in the previous marks, I would say that in terms of the rules, in terms of the advantage, Team Malizia again lining up for the inside rounding.
Yeah, they're lining up for the inside rounding. It looks like we've got a little bit of a left-hand shift, and it looks like the finish is actually at this mark. Is that correct, Niall?
Yeah, I think it is. I think with the breeze, the race control have not only shortened the course to 1 lap, but shortened it even further. This is the finish, and this is going to come down to those final meters. It was 11th Hour Racing team off on the city side of the race course. They had the breeze, but right now in terms of distance, Team Malizia is much closer to that finish line. Biotherm is on the other side of the racetrack. They've lost out to 11th Hour Racing team. They've come round in 3rd place. 11th Hour Racing team are on starboard. They have right of way, but I don't think they're close enough here to Team Malizia.
Yeah, I agree with you, Niall. And actually, it's not just about the distance, but also Malizia, with their angle, at least appear to be laying the finish line. And 11th Hour Racing is going to have to do one more tack. We're going for it right now here, and this will be a very critical tack to see if we can get back up to speed and cross the line ahead of Malizia.
I think that was 11th Hour Racing team luffing up through. You could just see the race control rib on the right-hand side. That was denoting the other end of the start line. So I think 11th Hour Racing team, with that tack, with that little maneuver, that extra turn that was needed just to pierce the line, has made the difference. That has just gained them that 1 or 2 boat lengths, that little bit of a push. And it's Team Malizia.
About the next one.
Well, as Team Holcim PRB comes across the finish line, here is confirmation of the results here for the We Build Import race at our grand finale in Genova. 11th Hour Racing team going out with an absolute bang, sailing around everybody else